Hey guys, so we are back at this icon logo exercise for your selected Chihuahuan Desert natives species. Okay, so we should have now three thumbnail sketches, right? Using the vocabulary that we're learning actually in our Design One courses, right? So we have a data sheet with three thumbnail sketches, right? With three different views, where that's elevation, details, top view, you name it, and some brief information in terms of what that species is about. Remember, we're trying to, again, understand what makes our client unique. So what particularly is unique about this species right here? Now, what do we do next? Well, the way that we're going to go about designing this logo for this species is going to be through learning the different um, geometry tools that Rhino has in drawing. Okay. Um, and then translating those geometries into a set of functions such as mirror, array, rotate, copy. Um, I think, that's about it. All right, I'll talk more about that. So now the next step of this is going to be to extract, right, forms or shapes out of these drawings right here. And of course, using as a reference the research that you've done so far, such as the images that you have right here. But most of the content for this should come from your sketches, right? And as a matter of fact, while I was doing the sketches, some of these drawings were kind of coming into mind, particularly this one right here. Immediately kind of started thinking, right? I mean, you can see that when I started doing this, right? I started thinking about this. But even before we think about composing the entire logo, I want us to actually take this into steps. So in this step right here, we're not concerned about the appearance of the final logo. We're only concerned on finding shapes, simple geometrical shapes within these drawings that you have generated right here. Let me take you through what I mean by that. Okay, so one of the simplest ones, one of the for me, one of the favorite shapes that first kind of popped into my eyes was the shape of a triangle. Not very exciting, but you can really see it right here, right? Perhaps, you know, in order to illustrate this better, right, I can even kind of use this right here. So I'm doing that. Right? So that kind of triangle right there, right? So we're not doing it on your drawings right here. I'm just doing it to illustrate it, but we're doing it actually on a separate sheet, right? So again, I encourage you guys to, well, I encourage you guys to work on the grid. I really like the dotted one, but if you don't have a grid, use your gridded paper. I mean, I'm sorry. If you don't have your dots, use your grid, right? Um, Either or will work fine. All right. So if you don't have dots, that's fine. Use the grid. Now, now let's do that, right? I mean, so again, don't think about designing a logo. Just think about shapes. Okay. And for that, you're gonna need, of course, your tools, right? So let's get some pencils out. Um, you're going to need a straight edge, perhaps even your triangles. Um, and you may use any type of templates such as this ones that you have. There's other ones with other shapes, right? Basically anything but free-handed. Now you can start by freehanding as I started doing right here, but the idea is that ultimately everything is going to be translated into geometrical shapes. All right, let's take a look at what I mean by that. So um, let's see. Let me start with a new one right here. So I talked about triangles. Let me, even before I get into these funky triangles right here, I think even before that, I can see from the one that I kind of highlighted over here that we're talking about a less exciting, even a less exciting triangle. So this is where, again, our grid becomes kind of handy there. And I start doing something like that maybe, right? So 3 dots right there, and I can start kind of, notice that right now I'm free-handing it, but later on I'm gonna come back with ink and my rulers and make this cleaner, all right? So that would be the first one right there, and of course it's not that easy to read, right? Let's see, would this lighting help if I change that? Nope. But see it right here, right? This has been my first shape right there. And that's it. Notice that I'm not thinking about, oh, that's the logo. No, 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 no. Right now, what we're developing or what we're extracting are shapes that then we're going to use to develop the logo using a number of Rhino tools in order to copy those same shapes. Okay, so that would be the first one, right? Simple. So right? And then from there, maybe I want to spice up my triangle. So rather than having this very kind of boring triangle there, maybe go ahead and ink this right now so that we can see it better. Whoa. All right. So again, think geometrical shapes. Basically, I think anything that you can draw with your tools. Lines, squares, circles, triangle, squares, rectangles, arcs, angles. So that'd be first one. But then I'm like, well, if it's gonna be about a triangle, what if I spice this triangle up a little bit? Alright, so started kind of like designing this kind of, kind of like different shapes. So sure, why not? Again, guys, we're going for quantity at this phase, right? This is the sort of brainstorming exercise. We're not really concerned necessarily into how, if we use any of these shapes, how we're gonna use them, but they might not even make it onto the final design, which is fine. We're just brainstorming right now, right? So do that. I'm seeing that maybe this pen is too thick. Maybe that was a 0.3. I'll do a 0.1. So I guess that's the point right there. That's the point. And notice that they're in essence the same shape. It's a triangle, just with very subtle variations. Because remember, that's the power of this. Sometimes just slight variation can yield greater results. Now, that's all fun, right, and good, but, start thinking like, well, does it have to be a three-sided polygon, right? These are polygons, right? A triangle. What if it was a four-sided polygon, right? I mean, so this is, say, 3 sides right here, right? So triangle, right? What if I turn it into a four-sided polygon? Not necessarily a square, but how about a parallelogram? I think that's one of the words right here. So I started coming up with these two shapes right here. That one and this one right here. Does color help, maybe? All right. So start coming up with these forms. Notice that I first hand sketched it right there. I'm using my grid as a guide, but then I'm coming here with my tools and inking this just so that it's cleaner and legible. Right, and I'm using a 0.1 since these are kind of very, very very sharp lines. the thicker that the line is, the clunkier that it looks. Now, you don't have to be a slave to the grid or the dots in this case. That can actually be modified. All right. So there we have it, right? And actually, I'll take that back. This is actually a pentagonal form, right? Because it has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 sides. This is the parallelogram, the one with the 4 sides. So then here I went from, again, 3 sides, right, into a 5-sided one, into a 4-sided one. I'll show you what that looks like. And so then here, I guess I'm starting there. I'm going all the way there, and I'm going to here. I'm going to there. All right. So I have those. All right. So you see how fast, right? Very, very simple. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different drawings. Okay. From there, I started thinking about the circle, right? So what could I do with circles? Particularly thinking about this form right here. This remember this kind of like squiggly things? This guy's right here, right? This and then that right there and this. And then of course, just having this kind of lines, it's like a fan, right? So that's where again this idea of a circle came in. So I was like, well, what could I do with the circle? Let's find out. So I draw my first form shape right here. I'm not really sure which one I used. Maybe it was this one. It's this one. Doesn't matter. We could do this one. So rather than doing the circle, right, I'm trying to understand the forms in their most basic form. The forms in their most basic forms. The shapes in their most basic essence, right? So something as simple as perhaps an arc that has some sort of a thickness. Maybe like this. When you're working with circles, it's always nice to have a axis, right? So let me draw this real quick with pencil so that you know I use it as a guide. Maybe so that you guys can see it, I'll draw it on. I'll draw it with ink. Let's see if this. See. I'm gonna draw a center line. So that when I place my second circle on top of this, I can use the same center. Right. So that's a center line, right? It's called a dash dot or long dash dot long dash dot long dash dot. So that's just a guideline. That's not really part of the work that I'm trying to do, but it helps me find this center point and align my template so that again I have my first outer circle. I'm gonna maybe move a few circles in. Right, and I do my second one. And then from there close this off there. Now there's something off. I'm seeing that there's something off right here, which I may not be against it actually. So I don't know if you guys can see, it's kind of hard to tell, but I don't know if you guys can see this distance right here. It actually it's a little bit smaller than this distance right here. So I actually intended them to be just equal distance from there to there, that from there to there, but they're not. That's not what I was going for, but I'm not against it, right? So what happens if I now try this? So you see how one idea can then take you to other ideas. What happens if I try this idea in a different way up here? I'm gonna take my largest maybe circle, and I'm gonna draw it first with pencil because I'm not really sure what I'm doing. So let me first try to sketch this right here with pencil. So we'll do this one right here. So again, that's what I did. And then I'm gonna pick like a smaller circle rather than centering it, right? Rather than doing this, let me just draw it and creating sort of like a donut, which is essentially what I first was trying to do over here. Rather than doing that, what if I actually, rather than, so the first circle had this as the center. What if now the next center has, the next circle has this as center or this as center? Let's try it. And of course, a smaller circle. Let's see, maybe we use this one. Now, how am I going to find the center of it? Because right now I'm just going to eye it, I guess. Let's try it kind of like there. Right? So I'm going to do this right here. Check this out. And I'm going to pick from here to, let's say, here. I was doing thirds, right? So I was splitting this kind of like in three. So let's say this right here. All right? So I'll do that. And then again, let me just drop some marks right here so that I don't forget where I place my template. All right, so we'll do that. Hey pups. Elvis wants to go for his walk. Hold on, Elvis. We'll go out. Hold on a second. So, all right, yes. So let's see before I forget. All right, so now let me trace it again with pen and see if we can get a cleaner result of what I was trying to do right here. Where's my, this one? So then let's see. So I want to start right there and take it all the way over here. And then I'm gonna pick, oops, I forgot which one was it. I think it was this one. Nope. Yes, this one. This was the other one that I used, the other circle. This is a smaller one. So again, we're gonna do it from here to here, like that. And then we close it off. This one is this, and this one is like this. That's it. That's it. So again, these circles right here, outer circles, they are construction lines, but in reality, I only am actually looking for this other a shape. Now this one was really interesting over here. I don't know what I was trying to do. I was actually trying to do kind of like the same idea, this sort of arc, but I was trying to use 1, 2, 3 different circles to generate that. I think I gave that another shot somewhere over here, right? So create this sort of a center line right there, create those circles. Those two is like the donut, but then I used a really small circle right here to create this one right here, and then a really large circle right here to create this one. Let me do this one right here. Uh-huh. And I gave myself the note right here which circles I was using because I was losing track of them, but I'm not even gonna be sure if I'm gonna be using that again. 1 and 1/8, 7/8. I'm not really sure what that means, but let's find that. 1 and 1/8. I think the 1 and 1/8 is the outer circle. So let me do that. And then 7/8. Oh, 7/8 it was the center one. I think so. So 7/8, where are you? 7/8 is over here. And then I'm only using this little cachito right there. Okay. And then I'm using a really large one over here. Probably this one right here. And then creating this right here. It's hard to really read it as such, but there it is. And then, no, I think I was using something like this. So I was creating sort of that shape right there. You know, in the computer it would be easier to read it, but there's this section right there where this is actually a segment of a larger circle that closes that off, and this little one that just makes this one over here, and you know it creates that. Now again, as I was going through this ones right here, I was like, okay, triangles, that's fine, that's fine. Okay, but I don't know, could we do something more? I started thinking about this shape right here, right? Again, it's a four-sided shape. Then I was like, ooh, what if we change that rather than being a straight line? What if we turn it into a little arc right here? So I did, right? Here, looking into those squiggly lines again, the ones that are right here on this side of the screen, right? Again, the pink ones over here, right? On the bottom right side of your screen. Well, what if I create this kind of segments right here, just with tangents of circles, right? So these are all just different. So that's the 23, 30 seconds, right? So it's that one right there. And so I can show you right here, 23, 30 seconds. So it's this one right here. Let me use something a little bit thicker. So we're doing that. And then from there, I jump to the 5/16ths, or so it seems like it. And then from there, I jump to the 1/2 inch, so which is slightly larger. And I go to a smaller one, which is at 3/16. There it is. And again, just trying to recreate sort of like that curly, kind of like little ribbon that comes out of the plant right there. And that's it. I'm not trying to draw the entire plant anymore. I'm trying to capture little moments of the plant in larger pieces, right? But so these are all just pieces. Later on, we're gonna play and see how we can put them together to perhaps generate something fun and unique. Okay. So again, the only rule here is that you can freehand it, you can sketch it, but at the end of the day, the form, the shape, the geometry must be rationalized with some sort of tool, whether that's straight edge, templates, again, more tools. If you don't have a template like this one, the circle, you can use the compass, right? El compás, right? So you can make circles and arcs. Um, and yeah, so then let's not forget about numbering them, right? All right. And again, you saw how easily I'm just like flowing through this, right? So let's do, right, 1, 2, 3, 4. Now notice as well that I'm not being super um, particular about how I distribute my spaces. I'm just letting my, I just, if I don't like what I see, I flip the page, right? And I just continue trying different things, right? Because I mean, again, one idea will yield to another one and another one and another one. Sometimes the hard thing is to stop. Um, so, be free. I mean, how many pages are you gonna need? I don't know. But let me tell you this. We're gonna go for at least, let's see, one, two, three, four, five. Let's do, this is number six. Let's say that I was to clean this up, and I'll do a seven. All right. Oh, there's another one right here. Eight, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. So this is another one. 14. And then, as people from my rancho say, right? El pilón, right? 15. How about that? Let's try 15 sketches. All right, guys? Just how simple they are, how fast you can whip them out. Um, and that will definitely get us somewhere. So again, definitely feel free to start freehanding it, then translate if you want with tools and pencils, and then ultimately make sure that you ink the final one with your pens. Again, I was using the point one works really nice, the point five, and the point 0.01, 0.005, which is the thinnest one, and in some of them, perhaps even the 0.03. Okay. All right, guys, let's try that. All right. 15 sketches on your grid paper or dotted paper. Again, don't try to draw the entire plant. Just try to extract, right? Extract out of the plant 15 geometrical forms or shapes out of it. Okay? All right, guys. You know where to find me. Let me know if there's questions.